Hey y'all, welcome back. I'm Quinn, and I just got back from a trip to South Dakota, and let me tell you, that was quite the event. Jared and I went up to South Dakota for one of my best friend's weddings, and it was a lot of fun to go there. Very cold, but our traveling situation was absolutely insane. We stayed for an extra 2 days that we were not planning to stay, and I think we were scheduled on probably over 25 different flights, you know, coming from LA going to South Dakota and then South Dakota coming back to LA. Just, we kept getting rescheduled so many times and it was just a lot. I'm very exhausted and kind of frazzled if you can't tell. And then we got back yesterday evening, woke up this morning to a burst pipe, and so now we have no running water. To recover from all that, all I want to do is sit on the couch and crochet, and I have a really cool project in mind. So when I was in South Dakota back at my dad's house, I saw this cute little picture of me when I was like 3 years old or something, wearing the cutest granny square crochet cardigan that I've ever seen. Here's the picture. Look at this cardigan and also look at little baby me. That is so cute. So I thought that it would be a lot of fun to remake that cardigan, but bigger, you know, so that I can wear it now. And so we're gonna have to do some modifications to it, but it will be sort of the same. You know, it's gonna be inspired by this cardigan right here. So in the original cardigan, I think there are 3 granny squares along like each panel basically. So first thing I need to do is just mess around with the yarn and my crochet hooks to see exactly what size I need them all to be so that I can try to fit that same style. So after a bit of trial and error, I have figured out the size of the granny squares that I need, and I have made a few of them. I need to make at least 48 granny squares that are this size before I can start attaching them all together. So that's gonna be my entire day, probably. At least these are not very big. It's just, you know, 2 rounds, so they go pretty quick. I've been working on those granny squares for a while and I have like 8 of them. So, you know, I'm on my way, but I need to go take the puppy out, and I thought that this would be a really good opportunity to show y'all my first make of 2024. I made a hat. I had been planning to make this hat for months and I finally did it over New Year's weekend, and I've been wearing it like literally every single day since. I just wanted to show y'all that. That doesn't really have anything to do with this video or today's project at all, but I just wanted to show y'all that because I'm gonna wear it while I go walk outside with Daphne because it's cold out. I am almost done with all of the granny squares I need for the front of my cardigan. 18 granny squares in just a few hours is not too bad, I think. So I still need to make 6 more before I'm done with all of the granny squares for the front of my cardigan. And then I have to make all the ones for the back of my cardigan still. But honestly, this is not taking as long as I thought that it would. Guess what? The water's back on. Now back to the cardigan. I realized that I need to put this blue border around all of the little granny squares that I made yesterday. So technically, I don't have half of the granny squares done, but it's fine. I still feel like I got pretty far yesterday. But also, can we just take a moment to appreciate how beautiful this looks? I'm very excited for this cardigan. blue border, done. And it's only noon. So I'm going pretty quick this morning. Now I'm gonna start attaching all of these together so that I can make the 2 front panels of my cardigan. Okay, I have all of the granny squares for my first panel all laid out in the order that I want them in, and looking at them, I'm realizing that I should wet block them before I slip stitch them together, but I'm not gonna do that because that would take a really long time and I don't want to. So I'm just gonna go for it. I need to figure out what the most efficient way to slip stitch them together would be. So I'm gonna just be here staring at them for a little while. It looks really pretty though. I started attaching some granny squares together for my first panel, and I realized that this is not going to be long enough if I just do 4 rows of granny squares. Right now I just have 3, but there will be 4. And the way I'm doing this, it won't be long enough. So I either need to make more granny squares per panel so that it will be long enough, or I need to single crochet a few rows of just the blue between the rows of granny squares. So I'm gonna put a pause on this first panel right now, and I'm gonna start working on my second front panel. And for that one, I'll try putting a few rows of blue single crochet in between each of the rows of granny squares. See if I like how that looks. If I don't, then I guess I'm just gonna stick back with this and make more rows of granny squares. I have both of my front panels partially done. I didn't want to finish either of them because I don't really know which direction I'm gonna go, so we're gonna have to use our imaginations here. First up, this is the one I just did. I will be attaching, you know, all that together if I decide to go in this direction, but I didn't want to do all that work right now in case I don't, you know, go with this one. But this is sort of what it would look like. And then imagine another row down here. So it would be long enough, you know, like, I know it looks too short right now, but just trust me. And then again, you know, I already showed y'all this earlier, but this would be just imagine it continued out and there would be another row below it. So it would be a little bit longer, but it's quite a lot shorter than that other version. So I would have to make a lot more granny squares for this one to work. Whereas this one, I already have enough granny squares for it, then I just am doing these rows of single crochet here. I like them both a lot, but I feel like this is the way to go. Okay, I think I'm gonna finish this panel before I decide to, you know, take this one apart and do it in this style, just so that I can see this in its like finished state before I really decide which direction to go. But I'm feeling pretty confident that this is gonna be it. I finished this last night and I love it. I think this is definitely the direction that I need to go for the panels. And I was looking at the photo I have, you know, again last night, and I think that this is more accurate to the cardigan in the picture. It's kind of hard to tell because like the picture, it's just kind of hard to see the cardigan in the picture, but I think that this is more accurate. So I'm going with this. Front panel's done. We can imagine this, right? How great this is gonna be. So now it's time to make the back panel, which is just gonna be the same as these, but one panel. I need to make 24 more granny squares. It'll all be worth it. I finished all of them. I'll stack them up nice. Here they all are. Look at this giant stack. I don't know how I did that. 24 granny squares in a few hours. I'm really sore. So I think that this is a good stopping point. I am definitely not finishing this entire cardigan in one video. It is too much work, and also I think I need more yarn. So I'm gonna call it here. I will see y'all in part 2, where hopefully we will finish the whole cardigan. So see you next time. Bye.